Hello, folks, and welcome to Muse Q&A. You get your head back there. Uh, Welcome back. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I had some folks ask about it last week and thought it'd been long enough I should do one. I do have... Would you shush? So I am here to answer your questions. I will probably pull up and see if I can find the few comments that folks had sent asking some things. And my mini-me also wants to discuss some things because she's a little nerd. So yeah, I thought I would give it a minute, see if folks hop in who have questions, and I'm going to look for the other questions that were on here while you talk about whatever it is you want to talk about.
I'm going to answer questions on Marvel.
Okay. Didn't you say you wanted to talk about your thoughts about the new show?
Oh, yeah, so there's a new Loki show coming out, and I'm very excited, and I watched the trailer, and and yes, the co-host is Bob. And on it, he was in his comic book looking type thing, and then he got abducted by some TMV, I think it was called. And basically, in Endgame, if you haven't seen it, there was like his past self trying to escape, and he got the Tesseract when it fell out of the case, and he got out of there. So then in Infinity War, he sadly died, but instead of Marvel actually killing him off, he resurrects himself again like he always does. This time it wasn't so on purpose, though. So, I'm very excited. And I don't know why he was in, like, his comic book character looking, like he has short hair now. And then there was a scene of him jumping out of an airplane as like a secret agent type, I don't know, it's confusing.
They were referencing a lot of different things, like the vote for Loki.
Yeah, that was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, you've read some of the comics, haven't
Yes, I have read the vote for Loki one as well. I would totally vote for Loki. Can we have Loki instead of Biden or Trump, please? Can we?
you? Alright, pass it over real quick.
Fine.
Alright, so I haven't found the questions people had sent to me, but I did find two comments we might discuss that I think are neat. Hi Liz, you're new to the channel, you want to know if we're sisters. That's such a compliment. Thank you so much. This is my niece. Aw, we are close in age for typical niece and aunt relationships. I am the youngest in my family by 12 years. My parents weren't expecting to have another child, so my brother was already married by the time I was like 10, and that's when this thing came along at some point. I was in high school, so I was 15 when you were born.
And you wore those weird bucket hats.
Bucket hats?
Yeah,
Fedora?
Yeah, whatever that thing was.
I did wear a fedora, and I had fingerless gloves because I was in high school. All I wore was black and white, and I had black nail polish all the time. Yes, that is, yeah. I mean, that's when we invented emo in my generation. That's where it came from. Anyway, so on episode chapters 40 to 42 of Heaven Official's Blessing, we talked about how the characters have the red ribbon, the red thread tied to them, and that's part of a Eastern tradition. I don't know the whole lore behind the story, but I know that there's this like folk tale where the red string of fate connects you to your true love. And then I mentioned I'd also read a different book, or it was actually a manhwa, called Here You Are, where it talks about how in China, what finger you wear the ring on has different meanings. And I wasn't sure which finger meant what, but that I was like, oh, I wonder if the fact that the red string is on this finger means anything for him. Well, somebody commented and said, in China, the bride and groom wear their wedding rings on opposite hands. The bride wears hers on the right, groom wears his on the left, based on a Chinese custom. They believe the woman is the one in charge of the household, so it should be worn on the right hand because that exerts more influence, and engagement rings are worn on the middle finger. Finger meanings, according to ancient Chinese philosophy: thumb is your parents, index is your siblings, middle is yourself, ring finger is your life partner, little finger represents children. And that's the finger, the life partner is the finger that the red ribbon's on. So that makes sense. Interesting. I thought that was neat.
That sounds interesting.
Somebody also commented on a much older video. Where is it? the video I did about the architecture of Spencer Mansion, saying it was a video where I discussed all the paintings in Resident Evil in the mansion and the different like architectural style of the house. And this person just commented saying, apparently Resident Evil 0 has the same paintings. Judith beheading Holofernes is in Dr. Marx's basement office. And it says, if you click on the painting, it says woman in love with a dead man. I love that. And then, of course, the infamous castle that is said to be the castle from Resident Evil 1 is really just a painting of Neuschwanstein Castle. Apparently, that's in the training facility. So that was neat. I thought that was cool. Let's see. I've always wondered in Silent Hill 2, is Laura a real person or an apparition of the town? What are your thoughts? I did a video on Laura, which was one of my more controversial ones, because I did discuss how I thought it was theoretically possible that Laura's just another kind of creepy ghost, because she has some things in common with how Maria's presented. We don't really know much of where she came from. She doesn't have a full name, which sounds like a weird thing, but all the other characters in the game, except for Maria and Laura, are given full names. Like, you don't ever hear, like, Angela never tells you her full name in the story, but you know it. Same thing with Eddie, same thing with Mary. You know, that's a very strange little tidbit there, but I think it's very plausible to interpret her that way. I don't think it has to be interpreted that way, and some folks didn't like that idea. They weren't fond of that and thought it was more interesting to see her as a person, which, fair, you know? I just think it's neat that there's some weird inconsistencies with her character that kind of line up with Maria and make it plausible, you know? Hello, folks joining us. Let me see if I missed any other things. Can we have a horror movie stream with both of you?
No. I refuse. Goosebumps even scared me.
Mm-hmm.
No horror movies. I can watch Marvel. I really want to watch X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not allowed to. Well, technically I'm not allowed to watch Deadpool, but...
No, you are not. Not yet. No.
But I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Feel like she was a patient in the children's ward that Mary befriended. That is very, very, very plausible. I kind of like the idea, which I've thought of kind of since then, where maybe she's the ghost of a patient, because that might explain how she got attached to, you know, that whole scenario, but also why she's like an 8-year-old girl that has no supervision but is in the town somehow. I know that some people aren't as bothered by that as I am, but the idea of an 8-year-old girl just making it to Silent Hill and nobody caring or stopping her, and she can just run down and do whatever, like, the idea that she's not entirely real or normal makes that make a lot more sense to me. What are you pointing at?
It says, Muse, what was the creepiest real-life experience you've ever had?
When I was a kid, I was laying down in bed to go to bed that night, and the hall light was on, and I didn't want to get up out of bed, and so I was staring at it like, come on, go out, and then it flipped out, and I freaked out, and I told my mom in the morning, and it turns out she flipped it off from the bottom of the stairs.
That happens to me, like, all the time. Every night. I've gotten used to that.
So one of the devs admit the reason they didn't give Laura a last name is because she's an orphan and the lack of family name underscores it. That's fair, but I don't know. I like the idea that she's kind of some kind of spooky ghost. I think it's ambiguous enough that you can interpret it that way.
You're asking me to watch Gremlins. I refuse.
I've never even watched that one. I don't like what those weird, creepy little puppets
They're
look like.
Cute, but then they turn not cute.
For Silent
Okay.
Hill 2, do you believe Mary's in the boot of the car? In game, like actually technically, there's nothing there. Hackers have checked, there's nothing in the car. If you discuss it with the writers of the story, and this is in the novelization too, I think, they're all in the back, they all say she's in the back seat. That she's in the car, but she's not in the trunk, she's in the back seat, which is kind of like out of sight, out of mind for him when he's, you know, driving to town. But, yeah, according to the novelization and to the scenario writer, I believe, that's where they imagined. I don't know where the trunk thing came from. Maybe just fans thinking that? I don't know.
This even sounds creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would put a person in the back of the...
I bet you thought you were psychic at first. I did. I flipped out. I was like, oh my god! I was freaking out.
One time, I was like, oh, I should go turn the light off, and I kept thinking about turning the light off, and then it suddenly, like, turned off, and I actually did think I was psychic, and I tried moving things with my mind, and it didn't work.
If I was a character in Silent Hill, who would I be? Probably Henry. I don't go anywhere. I just stay inside. I'm lazy. You would be Laura, small annoying child that kicks the main character. Yeah. Hi! I told you yesterday, in this family, you do not need to hit people in the head. What would happen if you did that to your mom, huh?
I wouldn't do that to my
My head yesterday hurt real bad after you did that. I had a horrible headache and you made it worse. You do not hit heads. No more. Her mama has chronic migraines and she's going around hitting people in the head.
I like hitting you though.
Don't hit me in the head. That does make sense, Akatsuki. I hadn't thought about that, but, I don't know. I still like my idea. I'm not saying it's not fair to see it the other way, but I just like the idea that she's a spooky ghost. I want there to be more spooky ghosts in Silent Hill.
Wait, am I a ghost, my character?
No, you're the annoying little girl that kicks people.
I'm fine with kicking people.
Let's see. Oh, sorry. Who is my guest? This is my 12-year-old niece. She's kind of appeared in and out of a couple of streams and different things because she's nosy and won't stay out of my room. Her family is living with us for a little bit, so she may be around for a while. Apparently your house is going well. I heard it has a stair.
It has walls and stairs.
It has a stairs. It's good for house to have walls and stairs. Have I heard of a game called Juggernaut, a PS1 game in which you go into a woman's mind? Ooh, I keep saying I'm gonna create a form for people to send me video games they recommend, but I haven't done yet. I've never actually heard of that one, and I thought I'd heard of all the cool, creepy. Okay.
Oh, heck no.
Ooh, I will have to add that to the list. I've been trying to figure out what I'm gonna stream next because, you know, we kind of have it open here where I could jump into something. I don't know what I want to do yet. I've been going through all my old streams and retiring some that are really, like, my very first stream, Black Mirror 2017, I just streamed through my PlayStation, didn't even have a webcam, so you can't see my face, and I went and made it members. I didn't delete it. It's members-only content. But that made me think of a couple of things, like Resident Evil 4, I streamed that way, and I kind of want to redo that. I want to stream it again with a better setup. So I'm trying to decide what we're going to do.
Well, they think that I'm a figment of your imagination.
Oh, I'm imagining you. That makes sense. Let's see, what did... My thoughts on the constant rumors of the return of Silent Hill. I can't entirely dismiss it as a possibility for the future, but the longer it takes for it to come around, the more it seems like it's just rumors. I mean, the journalists that I've spoken with who say that they have, you know, resources and stuff, it's not that I think they're lying or I don't believe them or their sources, it's just nothing's come of it yet. But on the other hand, they have done Silent Hill Dead by Daylight, they've done all the fan gamer merchandise, they've put the music on Spotify, like they keep doing these things that feel like they would be tie-ins for a Silent Hill game, but there's no Silent Hill game announced, so it's like, what are you doing? I'm the kind of person that, like, it could happen, but I'm not gonna sit here and hold my breath.
Well, for movies, they usually announce some parts of the soundtrack first, and then they announce the movie coming out a couple of weeks or months later, so maybe it's gonna come out.
So what happened with Silent Hill is a lot of big drama happened many, many years ago, and they haven't said anything since. And everybody keeps hoping something will happen, and it doesn't. Yeah. That's why I watched the entirety of the Game Awards and lost 3 hours of my life to that trash. So yeah, I don't think it's an impossibility. One day, Konami may weigh it out and say, hey, we could make money doing this, but they may not. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But, let's see. I'm trying to send you a Steam game. Please. Oh, I thought I had accepted that, because when I opened Steam... Oh, yeah, it's on my other computer. It said, hey, you have new friends. And I was like, cool. I didn't know I had to accept anything. I will have to go and do that. Thank you, Akatsuki. That's very kind of you. How are my cats doing now that there are dogs in the house? So, we have a baby gate. We're on the upstairs area. There's like a loft on this side of the loft. There's some bedrooms. On this side are my bedroom, a bathroom, and a bonus room. There's a baby gate between the two sections so that the cats have one side and the dogs have the other side. They get along with my dog, because my dog grew up with dogs. My brother's dog did, or my dog grew up with dogs. My dog grew up with cats. Their dog did not, so he doesn't know what to do with himself when, you know, Xena freaks out over the cats.
Xena tries to eat the cats.
The first time they met, Xena actually managed to break into my room and ran at Gandalf and stopped in front of him like, and Gandalf's freaking out in the corner, like shaking, and he's not very confrontational. He's not defending himself. He's just ready to roll over and die. And what happens but Pippin, across the room, jumps off the bed and jumps on the dog to defend her little brother, and the two of them fought it out. My sister-in-law had to drag Xena out of the room to stop it, so...
Xena got a cut on her lip.
She did. She did. She scarred the baby. Oh. Well, Pippin defended her brother, and it was kind of adorable and also scary.
She sort of deserved it, 'cause
Well, she didn't know what the cat was, so she was being a little aggressively friendly.
I'd rather have Pippin than Xena.
Unfortunately, Pippin did pass away, and so now all we have left is fraidy cats who just kind of curl over and die when the dog comes in here. But they are locked away from each other. They're not supposed to interact, and for the most part, they haven't. Xena, I think, Gandalf keeps breaking out and getting downstairs, even though he's not supposed to. And most part, Xena doesn't seem to notice him, but sometimes Xena will see that Gandalf has gotten downstairs, and you'll hear a fuss happening, and Gandalf runs upstairs.
Yeah, but he's a twit.
Let's see if I've missed any other questions.
Go down, they have...
I will. I want to make sure I didn't miss something somebody posted up here. I think we got those.
Marvel character?
My favorite Marvel character? Depends on the version.
X-Men.
I like Wolverine. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done Marvel. Is there a P.O. box? I used to have a P.O. box, but when Corona and all this started, I stopped going out of the house and I didn't renew it when I moved. So I don't have one now. If you'd like to send me a game, I don't know what kind of game it is or what kind of physical or what have you, but you can do digital stuff if that's easier. Next year I may open one up again if everything goes back to normal, which hopefully.
What are your guys' favorite Marvel characters?
Let's see what this question. Do you ever use tarot cards or runestones? There's many different styles. It's kind of this new artsy thing that, like, everybody designs their own tarot cards. It's really, I've seen a lot of really creative ones. Like, there's a lot of artists that make their own. There's Fire Emblem. There's any video game you can think of. People have done a version. I don't actually own any myself. I have these, like, my mom in middle school bought me a set of cards that I think she thought were tarot cards, but they're not. She was being very sweet. But they're called Goddess Guidance cards. There they are. Grab them. The gold box over there behind the globe. See? Yeah. Here, hand. Quick. Yeah. You hide your face. You think you're not gonna get in trouble. I told you not to put your face. Anyway, yes. So, I have those, but they're all I've ever really messed with. And they do have a little book in them where you're supposed to be able to do stuff or something or other, but I've never actually had tarot cards. There are a lot of guides online, a lot of folks that will do readings that you can, like, go on Twitter and pay them $5 and they'll read it out for you. I did that once ages ago, but yeah, I'm not really. I know the history of where they came from. I don't know much about them in the modern age. I should work on that.
For some reason, I'm tired.
You're sleepy?
No, I'm just tired. I don't want to go to sleep.
You're just tired of the world? You're 12. You keep making fun of me and saying I can't be old and tired, so you can't be young and tired.
No, that school has made me mad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At least I get to do this.
Well, yeah, that seems to be we've caught up on questions. Do you have anything you want to discuss, Tiny?
I'm not tiny.
No?
And two, I want to see what the fans' favorite Marvel characters are.
Okay, what are your favorite Marvel characters? I'll think of mine. The thing is, I haven't read, like, normal comics in so long.
Or the movies, just like...
When I was into the movies, I did like Loki a lot. I did.
Yay! Justice for Loki.
I know, Loki is her favorite. She really likes him.
And Tom Hiddleston.
And Tom Hiddleston and Alan Rickman.
Hey! Don't pick on him.
I'm not! I just said you like him, and that's true. Thor was always mine, Surfin says. But I was following the god back in the early 90s. Hey, that's fair. Good night, Helena. Thanks for joining us. Thor is cool.
Gigantic oaf.
Nightcrawler, aka Kurt's my favorite. I like Phoenix. Yeah, Nightcrawler's cool. He's fun. I got out of kind of, it was so expensive to keep up with comics like Marvel and DC that, like, you know, they have 10 million running stories that all tie into each other. I lost count ages ago. I'm really sad that it's not, like, the Comixology has this, like, thing where you can pay, but it's not the most, you don't really get a lot out of it.
Tom Hiddleston will still play Loki in the show, but Owen Wilson will also be in the show. And he's, like, one of the agents working for the whatever the place is that kidnapped him.
I'm so dead inside when it comes to Disney stuff. I'm so tired of them putting out a million different TV shows from Star Wars and Marvel.
Yep.
But I will say the new Loki looks cool.
Yep.
And I will probably watch that. Shouldn't Niece be doing the online school thing? She's done with school for the day. We had really horrible rain and stormy weather that hurt a lot of the teachers' connections.
I got the skip.
She only got to have like half her classes.
I only had one class, and the class lasted 5 minutes, and it was agriculture, so I just really didn't care. And I got to do all my homework in like the morning, so I played Just Dance, and I went in the pool room and played pool.
Yeah, we heard you yelling during my last video.
Well, yeah, because Guinea was beating me.
Yeah. Watch me come in there, then I'll beat you.
No, but I learned how to use Papa's one, and I got his old chalk out, so now I'm much better.
Oh, for certain. You know for sure that stick and that chalk are his.
Yeah, because it's been used by him a lot, and that was his stick. His stick had the brown with the white mixed into it, and it was much, much longer. So.
Moon Knight. Moon Knight's cool. And Venom. I do like Venom. Let's see. How do I feel about Chris Pratt? Chris Pratt is a Pratt, unfortunately. Yeah, he's one of the lesser Chris's. We're not fond of him here. I really haven't kept up with all those, honestly. The second movie was a good one, but when they killed the girl, I was like, what? Come on, this is dumb. Anyway, I ain't that into it. Yeah, most of the, like, TV stuff with Disney nowadays, and the fact that they just came out and had that big announcement, they were like, we're gonna do 10 shows and 10 Star Wars and do this in the next 5 years. I'm like, God, can you please slow down? This is the first year in, like, a decade that they haven't published anything, and it's only because of a worldwide pandemic. I'm so tired of their stuff.
And they always do, like, these not Nick Jr. shows, like the Disney Channel shows, and they last for, like, one season. It's a whole waste of money, and I'm just like, nobody watches this.
What is the next con you're planning to go to? Any costume ideas yet? If we have the ability to go outside of the house, if we can, if the outside exists again, I go to a convention every year called Animazement. It's the convention that's in my hometown of Raleigh. Why do you want to interrupt me every 5 minutes?
Because I have an idea of what I want to be. I want to be Seth Roth.
I hadn't even finished talking. You couldn't hold on?
Yeah.
Anyway, Animazement is in my old hometown I grew up in. It was the first convention I ever went to. It's in this really big convention center. Well, big for us. It's one of the biggest ones in my state, and it's so much fun every year. I see folks from high school every year, which can be a good and bad thing. I've brought this one twice. She and I actually got an award once at a costume contest. It was super cute. I'm glad you remember that. And the first year she went, she was 4, and we put her in a little red dress with a little bucket, and she was Ponyo, because she had the red hair. It's cute. Costume-wise, I don't know, man. I haven't... Okay, apparently she's going to be Sephiroth. I don't know what I'm going to be. If we even have a convention, I will plan something. Bye, Bold Blue Jay. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one. Previous years, I've been Yuna from Final Fantasy the most. Unfortunately, I bought that costume when I was in high school, and I have outgrown it. I cannot fit in it anymore. Futaba? She's a little computer nerd with long red hair. You would kind of look like her.
Yay, I want to be her. I don't even know who she is, but I want to be her because she's a computer nerd.
I'll have to show you. That would be cute. Who else have I been? You were Ponyo, and the year that we won the award, she was Dark Magician Girl, I was Dark Magician. I made the hats out of cardboard, and it looked so goofy, but everybody loved us, because everybody knew who we were. Everybody knew who we were, and she was cute and little, and you were like 7 years old, so everybody loved her. She's definitely... And they all thought she was my daughter. We got interviewed because we won the award, and they thought she was my child, because... They kept asking me about how I made the costume for my daughter. I was like, okay, sure, we'll roll with that. It's easier. Sweetheart, they used to do that when we went grocery shopping, and if I was, babysitting you that day, people always assumed you were my kid.
Yay!
They don't understand the idea of an aunt, apparently.
Can I be your daughter?
No. You're my niece. I'm not stealing you from your parents. Let's see here. Show her my P5R streams, maybe eventually. It's a video game that has the character in it. I wonder if she can watch the show. No, not right now! Goodness, child. Anyway, I used to go to conventions quite a lot. My first kind of big job, I guess, I don't know, was I first worked for someone selling at conventions. I worked at their booth for a couple of, one season, like 3 episodes. Oh yeah, that guy was your mom and dad worked with me one time. They didn't believe me when I told them my boss was a piece of work. They were like, it's fine. We weren't there for 10 minutes and my brother was making fun of this dude and we had to leave early because the jerk wasn't, anyway. It was a horrible situation. What was that company's name? They're still around, I think. Anyway, I'll have to look it up. And from there, I decided to do my own. I made a business, I bought merchandise, I sold at conventions. It was a lot of fun, but I was a college kid who had no idea how to run a business, and eventually, when I got out of college, I had to shut it down. What, Con Celebrity? Oh, that's the next part of the game we're playing. Yeah. I'll have to look some of that stuff up and see what I can show you. I really did enjoy the work. Go get your own. You don't want to drink after me. That's sicky time.
You're not sick.
You don't know that.
You just have allergies.
It could be latent inside me, and then in 2 days, we both get sick. Why would you want to risk it?
Because I can skip school.
Germies.
I can skip school.
No.
Yes.
You don't want germies.
I
You
want
fool.
to skip school.
Her father works in an ambulance, and she wants to get sick.
Yes.
Dummy.
What are we?
Get him on TV, horrible bosses. Well, actually, he has been on Twitter, like, other people, so many have had this issue. He has kind of gone semi-viral with people saying, don't work for this dude, don't shop with this dude, don't, like, he locked a girl in a bathroom. Okay, grown man that I had met once, and he hired me and my friend, who were like 19 at the time. We drove to Louisiana to work for him, and we were promised a hotel room, and we found out the hotel room was a shared room with a 40-year-old man we'd never met. And he expected this to be okay, and his undies were on the floor when we walked in. So no, that was not going to settle. If my brother had not been with us, I would have been, I don't know what I would have done. This man was horrible, and I hope he is fired. I hope he's gone. Ugh, anyway. It was a bad situation. Yeah. Not a good situation to be in. Dude was a jerk. Anyway.
Punch him. Just straight up punch him.
Oh, I wanted to, because he was refusing.
Why not?
We wanted to leave early, but he was refusing to pay us, and refusing to pay us what we were promised. And, I couldn't. It was not a good time.
I would straight up beat him and then punch him.
It was fun when I worked with his sister in Atlanta, and so it was really sad when it turned out working with just him in Louisiana was horrible, because I enjoyed the job until I had to work with him, so. And he owned the business, of course, instead of the sister and the cool assistant that I liked working with. I don't know how those poor people put up with him day to day. Anyway, enough of horrible past job stories.
I would still want to punch him.
He would deserve it. He would. But we had a fun weekend the first time I worked with him. We watched Sankareya in the hotel room and got to chill in Atlanta, which is a great place. It was really fun. It was my first kind of outing as a young adult, having a job and doing something cool without, adults around. I mean, I got to go because my mom's entire family lives in Atlanta, so I wasn't alone,
I wish I was there, because then I would kick him in the knee.
Of course.
What?
And then you would be sued.
So what? I was like, what, 7?
You were not a lot. Well, no, okay, you were like 2, maybe. 3? I don't know. Anyway, if folks don't have any more questions, we'll wrap it up, and I will kick out the child, and make her go study.
I don't have anything to study. I want to. I want to keep doing this because it's fun.
What about I could be working on my next video and you and I can study cool stuff.
Like what?
Like, I'm talking about Babylonian myth next time. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Can I recommend an app to create RPG-type games? I think they're on Android. RPG Maker is super fun. They're really established, so they have like lots of years of material and things. And oh, yeah. The newest one's called MV, I think. I don't know if it's on Android, but you can use the assets from previous games in the new one. Well, you have to change them up a little bit, but like I own 5 of the RPG games, and I use the assets from all of them in the different programs. There's one that's on Switch now. I think MV's on Switch. But they're super fun, and they set up all the like framework so that you can just, you know, mess around and write story. And if you want, you can create your own art and music and what have you, and be more creative with it. But yeah, it's fun. Game stream later, probably. We'll see if I can get rid of my tag along. Or maybe I'll make her play a game with me. We'll see.
I'm gonna write on your face like Jigglypuff does.
I'd have to be knocked out of sleep first.
I can punch you and knock you out.
No, you can't. Because you'll be grounded for 5,000 years.
It'll be worth it.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye. I'll see you next time.